This is on Morris. Now, this video, I'm gonna break down a whole lot of hidden information, but it's something that I've been noticing, and it's a problem with people understanding of the word amexum. And I think I understand what's going on with that and why amexum is being a confusion. Now, I'm gonna show y'all how this works, and bear with me. But after this, I'm pretty sure y'all gonna look at it all different. So we're going to the screen share real fast and going to the internet. Gotta start with my guy, right? So in this, I jump right to the portion that I'm thinking about this bringing this question. Now, it's something that I noticed because I was reading it the other day and it caught my attention. Like, wait a minute, I never noticed that part. I never quite noticed that part. So I believe we are here now. Of course, load this up for you guys so you can see it. Okay. And can we go in? Yeah. All right. So we got chapter 47, our favorite, right? Egypt, the capital empire of the Dominion of Africa. Right. So this is the part that I want y'all to pay attention to about amexum. This is crazy, right? Pay attention to the commas and pay attention to the usage, okay? We got the first paragraph going in. It says, the inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the old land of Canaan. Right, so we go to the next page. And of course, you have to, they make you. Okay, all right. So this is the best, this is the funniest. All right. Old man Cush and his family are the first inhabitants of Africa who came from the land of Canaan. His father Ham and his family were second. Then came the word Ethiopia, which means the demarcation line of the dominion of amexum, the first true and divine name of Africa, the dividing of land between the Father and the Son. Now, this part is where I want to pay attention to, just this part right here. His father Ham and his family were second, right? Then came the word Ethiopia, comma, right? So basically, Ethiopia is the main the main focus, right? So then in between that, we say, which means the demarcation line of the dominion of amexum. When you put a second comma, that means that this part could also be in parentheses. So the which the demarcation, which means the demarcation line of a dominion of amexum, that could be in parentheses. The main focus is Ethiopia, so it's almost like omitting that sentence and going right into the next sentence, and it's kind of written like that to show you where the comma leads you to. It leads you to the next comma. So you don't include this sentence with the following stanza. If you understand what I mean. What I mean is, it should be written like this. Then came the word Ethiopia, the first true and divine name of Africa, the dividing of the land between the Father and the Son. The part that they're inserting, or that the prophet was inserting for us, was that which means the demarcation line of the dominion of amexum. And that's the only time he uses amexum. I don't think, now this is just me postulating from a Morse paradigm, I don't think that he was calling the land amexum. I think he was calling the land Ethiopia. I think amexum doesn't mean what we think it means. We might not know what amexum means. Why I say that is what starts this presentation. Okay, so we just hold that there. We understand where we're at now. There's a thing with this amexum in Ethiopia. Okay, how does this work? Okay, so we go into this right here. It says, what was the original name of Africa, right? From worldatlas.com. So we see a little stuff going on. And I want to skip right down to this part right here. It says, so what was the original name of Africa? Africa is said to be known initially as Akebulon. The word Akebulon is said to mean mother of mankind. So when they say, oh, the motherland, Akebulon, or Garden of Eden. Now, the funny part about that is that the Garden of Eden is also said to be Atlantis, which is America. Now, it's going to get crazy. It should be noted that before the word Akebulon was replaced by the word Africa, Akebulon was called many names, including Libya, Corfe. So, understand Kor, that goes back to the prophets, Prophet Muhammad's actual family lineage, the Quraysh. But anyway, Libya was also a name of Africa. So when they say, "Oh, Africa," what do you mean? Libya, Africa? Do you mean Akebulon, Africa? You mean Corfai? I mean, you mean Ortega? Like what do you mean? So Ortega and Ethiopia, and Africa was the latest. So that's the last name that was put upon that continent over there. Okay. So the oldest name that has indigenous African origins was used by the Moors. Okay, so how do we make that work? The Moors, like Dr. Ben said, this. He said in his book, he said the Moors and the Ethiopians were calling the land Alkebulon. The Numidians and Nubians, people of the Carthaginian Empire, Carthagins, right? And finally, the people of the Ethiopia. So the last people were the Ethiopians, and they were calling the land Akebulon. So I think what the prophet was saying was that if you look back, the time before we known that land to be Africa, it was called Ethiopia, right? And then all the different breakups or divisions that come from that. And then he was also going into he was referring to Africa as being, or Ethiopia as being, the one landmass before the split. Now, the reason why I say this about Amexem is because of this. This book is called The Arithmetic of Al-Ulasidi. Uqlidisi. The Arithmetic of Al-Uqlidisi, right? And where we gotta go with this one is let me go through this. Oh yeah, so I think it was part 6, I think. And we were dealing with division. So okay, part 3 remarks in right here. Profile, division. Now watch this, Morris. Watch how crazy this gets. So we can skip down. I gotta skip down. Okay. Oh, there it goes right there. All right, Morris. Now, please be aware. Understand what's going on. If it says right here, oh, then look, 6.1, that's the 7, right? Terminology and definitions, we like that. In Ethiopian arithmetics, division was also called partition, right? So like the partition of land, right? Both meanings are implied in the Arabic name for it, vis-a-vis al-Kizma, right? That's one. But all texts use al-Maksum, the dividend, the divided, i.e. the dividend. Al-Maksum alayhi, the divided by, i.e. the divisor. So what is this al-Maksum? Doesn't that sound like a Mexum? And it means divided. Now let's go into the etymology of divided so we can understand what we're talking about, or dividend. Divide, see how that works. Separated in 2 parts, pieces, right? Latin, dividere. Force apart, cleave, distribute. Okay, so now it sounds like people separated the lands through their own will. Oh, allotted, right? Sanskrit, aviyat, allotted. This goes back to what we were reading with the mothers, right? Divide, watershed, separation between river valleys, right? Separation between river valleys, dividend, right? The actual meaning, dividend, which serves as a barrier, act of dividing, Latin, dividendum, thing of to be divided, right? Generative, divere, force apart, distribute. So it sounds like land we're talking about. Mathematical sense, number of quantity, which to be divided by another. So portion, interest on a loan stock. So now this is the crazy part. Now we're talking about lands to be distributed, forced apart, divided. We go back to the prophet, and it says right here, the dividing of the land between the father and the son. So I think the prophet's actually saying the original land, the original word was Ethiopia. If you ask the Ethiopian what it was called, they'll say a Kebulon, right? But then the prophet says, which means demarcation line of the dominion of the divided. And what was divided? The first and true name land of Africa, the dividing of the land between the father and the son. Right? Does that make sense? Al-Maksum being a Mexim, and that means the divided. So it can't be the actual name of the land over there. That land represents the dividing between the father and the son, right? Of the mother's land, right? Ethiopia's a bastardization. We know it goes back to Ethiops, which means burnt face. He was talking to people who understood that. Abyssinia was the actual name that it would be called. So we move on. What's the crazy part about a Kebulon, and why I brought that up to bring that into the swing of things, right? We go to this Al-Kebulon. That sounds like this. After you understand that a Mexim can mean to divide, okay, what does a Mexim mean? Or Al-Kebulon mean then? Well, watch this, Morris. Prophet said to learn Spanish, right? Al-Kebalion, Al-Kebulon, 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 or Al-Kabalion. But anyway, the Cabal and then the lion. But anyway, Al-Kabalion, I'm proposing that this is what the Hermetic practitioners, being the teachers, the students of the Moors that went out and taught the rest of the world of the Ethiops, the Europeans. This was the knowledge that rose them out of the Dark Ages. The Al-Kabalion knowledge. It's just more science. It's the 7 laws of the universe. So we got the principle of mentalism, the principle of correspondence, principle of vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender, generation and gender. So that's what. So I will propose that the ancient name of Africa, so-called Africa, actually represented the 7 laws of the universe. So the land of the 7 laws of the universe, the land of alchemy, right? The land of alchem, right? Couldn't that make sense if you're looking at Al-Kabalion, Al-Kebulon, right? And then we got Al-Maksum, meaning the divided. So we move from that to, and I'll show you who wrote this Al-Maksum, Al-Uqlasidi. This guy is Al-Uqlasidi, Abu Hassan Al-Uqlasidi. Yeah. So says he was an Arab mathematician. Now we already know how they use these Arab words, who was active in Damascus and Baghdad. So how was an Arab active in? I think he just knew how to speak Arabic, so they call him Arab. As his surname indicates, he is a copyist of Elucid's work, he wrote the earliest surviving work of the positional use of the Arabic numerals, Kitab al-Fusul fi al-Hisab al-Hindi. Ha, al-Hindi, huh? Al-Hindi? Yeah, Baghdad. Okay, al-Hindi. The arithmetics of al-Uqlasidi. So does his name mean also the Hindu? You never know these people. Al-Uqlasidi could also mean al-Hindi. Well, you know, what are we doing? It is especially notable for his treatment of decimal fractions, right? Decimals. And we can stop there because I want to move on to the rest of the presentation. So decimals is what he was dealing with. When I start studying that and trying to look for the decimal, let me get some of these out of here. Lead a prophet up there, get this one out of there, get this one out of there. Keep that. All right. So when I started looking for the decimals, I found this. Decimori. Decimviri, right, is what they would say. I say decimori. I can see it. Decimori. What does it say? Deci, 10, mori, men. Decimori, 10 men, Latin. So why in the heck do, when you start breaking the Proverbs book down, you start finding that the decimal goes back to decimor, that was in Rome, and it actually means this is where they get the decimal from. 10 men, right? 1/10, right? All that stuff. Then think about this, Morris. Think about this. If decimor in ancient Rome means 10 men, then what? And in mors means the officer to be summoned by the court to equal to the 100 bailiffs, right? To summon the court for the sheddings, right? So if one more equals 100 bailiffs, but then 10 more is together, or a decimor, right? That would be 10,000 men. Or 10,000 years. Don't jump. Don't jump, because I've seen some videos of some dirty Moors talking about that a maxim ain't they couldn't find that. Well, we just showed you what a maxim is, division, right? Another Moor said, "Oh, what that dirty Moor talking about something Islamism? That flag ain't no 10,000 years." Look up flag. Flag means symbol or sign, or ensign, right? So that means a symbol or sign, aka the Venus symbol. 10,000 years or 10,000 men, right? 10,000 legions, right? Or a group of men, right? Legion, group of men, right? If decimori goes back to ancient Rome, and that would be 10 Moors, one more equals 100, that's 10,000 years or 10,000 men. But watch this. Why is that important? Latin, 10 men. In ancient Rome, any official commission of 10, the designation is most often used in reference to decimori legibus scribundis, decimiri legibus scribundis, a temporary legislative commission that supplanted the regular magistracy from 451 to 449. Now, this is crazy because we'll get into this, but you know, they dealt with a power struggle between the patricians and the plebeians. The first board of the decimors ruled in the modern struggle. So they created 10 tables of law, 10 commandments, Morris. In 451 BC, a secondary board completed the laws of 12 tablets, 2 laws less favorably by the plebeians. Now, the plebeians were the ones that had the royal hierarchy. Now, this is the crazy part. And they had all the bread and all that type of stuff. But we were the ones dealing with the law and ruling over everybody. But this is the crazy part about this. 10 men that make 10 laws, or the 10 commandments, and then 2 other laws were brought in. Now, why do I say years in time when I'm relating to the law, or the men, which is the law? But watch this. Because they created the Julian and Gregorian calendar after the Roman calendar. The Roman calendar only followed 10 months or 10 men, right? 10 men, because you can't even, you like our calendar, the present day calendar, not even our, but the Christian calendar that everybody's under, it doesn't even make sense. Watch this. If you start on March, by the time you get to December, you should be holding 10 fingers up. But that's Deci. That's Decimori, or that's December, right? Decembore. So it's the same goddamn word. That's December. When you really look at it, it's saying December, but that's 10. Now, if that all works out in the cosmos, what time are you following to actually get that? To make the season, to slice the seasons in half like a scimitar. You're using the moon cycle or the cycle of nature, and then you're directing it by the day with 5 positions of the sun. Understand that. That's science there. Because you would have a 13 cycles of the moon around a 5, or the 5 would be the perfected man, or the fifth sun. It may seem a little bit funny, but no, this is real science. The 5th sun, we go back to Egypt. The rising sun is the what do they call that? The Ra, right? The 2nd sun is the Keper. 3rd sun is the Un. 4th sun is the 10. 4th sun is the Amen, right? And we deal with the Arabic. The 1st sun is the Fajr. The 2nd sun is the Dor. The 3rd sun is the Asr, or Asar, like Osiris. The 4th sun is the Maghrib, like the West, Maghrib, West. And then the 5th sun is the Isha, right? So this is showing you the science of the sun, but under the guise of the matriarchal principle of the moon or silver. How did 10 tablets become 12? Because the man changed the times up. He added 2 months to get us on a 12. So what is this? Is this time travel? Is this how you bend time? Is how you bend time? Take a AD and put it on the back of this BC? Does time change? Because guess what happened in 451 AD? The definition of the Council of Chalcedon, what was that? So we already know about the Council of Nicaea. But the Chalcedon, they went a little farther. Look at this. Is a creed, like an Apostles' Creed? What was it? Like something like a Te Deum, like a creed, right? We then, following the Holy Fathers, all with one consent, teach men to confess one and the same Son, our Lord Jesus, the same perfect in Godhead and also perfect in manhood. Now, wait a minute there, Moors. What they're doing is taking think about this. If we taught a certain fallen humanity how to correct themselves by coming through the teachings of the Moor, how could they ever sit there and say that, well, we're just going to take this teachings into the manhood? The fallen manhood is perfect. You got it. No, there's no godliness in the fallen manhood. The godliness is when you start to pick yourself up from the fallen, because it's all that promise and fortitude and faith that you're going to develop in that journey, right? And then you're going to find out at the end of the day, it was all in you. That's why you got to be humble, because if you ever fell into that knowledge while you're walking, you might just give up and forget about the whole thing. Because what's to do when you know you are? That's the mystery. You have to have something to keep going. Substance, right here. Not part or divided into 2 persons, but one and the same Son, and only begotten, God, the Word, Lord Jesus Christ. So you know what that means? As the prophets from the beginning have declared concerning him. You know what that means? That means there is no more, you have to go to the Moor to get right, or you have to go to no, you can just be good on your own. Now that's cool if you're a Moor, but if you fell from the teachings and the understandings of who originated the world in the first place, of all these understandings and teachings and the romantic languages and 7 sibyls, 7 laws of the land, 7 arts, 7 liberal arts. We gave all that to all the 7 continents. And that's what rose them out of the Dark Ages into the Enlightenment age, into the Renaissance age, into the yeah, where they got all where they got their foot into the door of empires or imperialship. Foot in the door, not took the throne, because they were always second class nobility. And this is the problem, because they never could get past their self to, to rise. It got a little bit self-worshipy. And this is what this sounds like. Like, you see God in yourself, and there's no separation of God and the body. But that we always teach that there's separation in the body and God. Because the body is false. It's but falsehood. So we get out of this. Chalcedon definitions. At the Council of Chalcedon, the church explicitly defined the relationship between Jesus' divine nature and his human nature, and how they manifested in his being. See what I mean? That's not. They determined that he was truly God and truly man. See, this is why when they worship the body so much, they can't see past the body. But that falls away. Now watch this. Truly God and truly man, the self same or rational soul and body, the co-essential with the Father. No, you can't be soul and body. You got to leave the body behind. Well, so we understand. Now we understand that we're dealing with a little bit of time warp to mix the thought forms of people today. Time travel has been done. How do we make that easy? Jump into this book right here, Dakota Time Walker, and we get people very astute. This woman, January 13th, 1989. So understand that we already had a lot of stuff set up at this time in history, 1989. So there's a lot of things that she brings forth as like she's trying to stamp them as, okay, this is fact, but it's some stuff you have to put into play before that took place before, if you're going to start making those assumptions. And one of those things is the Moorish Empire. She we'll just go through. And oh yeah, wait, let me show you about what we're looking at here. Right on the left side, right over here, illuminate. Oh, let me big him up. Illuminate tribal code, the right to the okay, wait, go back a little bit. Speed of time, speed of light. Ishtar, Aphrodite, Venus. So see what I mean? Would they get that teaching from? All this means the same thing. Ishtar, Aphrodite, Venus. Okay, that's that principle of the 10,000 years of that symbol on that flag, right? Speed of light, speed of time, drawing the time in the opposite force, drawing the 3 rules of the human prophecy, drawing the 12 powers of the time that created the sunlight. See what I'm saying? So this is divinity. Any recreation of that and change of 12 is saying that they're playing with time. Understand? In some light, but we broke down a little bit, but I'm not going to go deep into the time travel mechanics of this thing, because that's going to take another video. My main point of this was to show you about a secret treaty. But the sign of the beast, tell you about a secret treaty and clearing up what they were having falsified with our prophet. The sign of the beast and the serpent. So we'll just cut through. Synchronizing time. So there we go. The point of it. Now, there's another important part right off the rip, because I know y'all never heard of this before. Watch this. For example, many individuals with educational credentials maintain and believe that Christopher Columbus, a title and not a name. You need to study the Moors, because the Moors talk all about this type of stuff. Christopher, the Christ offer of Columba, or colonialism. Christopher Colon, Christ offer of colonialism. Anyway, discovered the Americas. This cannot be supported by documents filed with the International Court in Hague. These documents, such as the Te Deum, right, the Thanksgiving, right, gave Columbus the right to start a trade route with the Indians because of existing treaties with the Indians, signed by between what? Indian tribes and Caliph Abdallah Ez-Zaghal, with the Vatican as third-party witness. Moors, don't that sound so familiar? These treaties were prior to Isabella I purchasing her kingdom from Ez-Zaghal. So the treaties were before any purchasing take place. So why do you have to sell it? You didn't have to sell it more. Ez-Zaghal didn't have to sell a damn thing if she was cousin bloodline or not, because it was already a treaty that took place. That's how we did business. For $17 million in the year 6204, Julian, right? 1491, Gregorian, whatever happened to the Roman calendar. So that'll show you that the Roman calendar is really the Moorish calendar. That's some more. The treaty with the Pueblo Indians sitting at the archives of Santa Fe, New Mexico, that presented a unique educational situation. There are no scholars or scientists that can correctly translate medieval English, French, German, Spanish, Irish, Latin, Greek, Arabic, or the Hebrew language, which were still used less than 500 years ago. So if you understand what was just said by this woman, her name is Meredith M. Quinn. If you understand what she just said that there's no way that anybody living today could even translate anything that existed back then. Why? Because I didn't see her say anything about she's missing one language. Well, yeah, it's not in there. So we'll go. And here we go, this planet Venus thing. They go deep into that. But it's like certain parts I wanted to get to, so I'm gonna skip through. It's like I said. Let me start going through the book. Yeah, I already said I wasn't gonna go through the whole thing, but hold on. Sun Venus is the serpent of time. This is called the serpent of time, the time equation, the serpent of time. This is what this is. This is all the mathematics. And it's she has mad equations and understandings to this, but it's one thing I wanted to get to. You see the codes. And this is gonna make a lot of more stink. Because that's the main point. Come on, internet, right? Still got the mathematics going on. Telling you, it gets broken down in this book. I'm telling you. They don't know. And the best part is what it all leads to. Come on, internet. Okay, boom. This is the eagle. Now this part of the book is where y'all gotta have y'all thinking caps on and pay attention, because a lot of stuff went down. So where do I want to start you guys at? Oh, is it this? Yeah, okay. I can show you this part. They are called without a reference given names: the Bishop's Land, Secular Treaties, and the Vatican Treaties. That right there is showing you what they call the treaties that the Moors had set up before time immemorial. I knew the period of time of this nation, that this nation had to exist, only there was no reference that such nation had ever visited the Indians, but it ruled the rest of the world for a period of 700 years. And this was the Moorish Empire. Almost 12 years later from the date of the Indian Manifesto, in 1984, that's a special date. That's a special Orwellian date, right? I found the name of the individual that signed these treaties with the Indians, right? Let's skip down here. Caliph Abdallah Ez-Zaghal, the king of the Moorish Empire, the last king of the Moorish Empire, Spain, and ruled through 1491 AD. He sold his kingdom to Queen Isabella I, 1491, for $17 million. Now, the crazy part, and they had this in Ripley's Believe It or Not, but the crazy part is that he didn't have to do it because there was already a treaty predating that. Find me a treaty that covers the Pueblos and Rancheros of Spain or the Vatican, and we could put this name back to sleep. But you can't find it because we did it. We did it. So do I want to skip through a little bit? Yeah, no, I know exactly where to go. Right here. But Spain was not the only nation. Yeah, okay, right here. Before the Moorish conquest, Spain, France, and England were part of the old Roman Empire. Right now, you know what's crazy? That's kind of like color, because before the conquest of the Moorish Empire and all that, there was no Spain, France, and England. They came later. Those names came later. In that time, there was no Spain, France, and all that stuff. The Franks, Al-Andalusia, and Britain, or matter of fact, what they call this, Britain, Brittany, and Albany. That Albany, yeah. So Albion, my fault. I'm thinking about New York, New York, but Albion. That's what this part was called when it comes to pale people. Like, but you know, so the old Moorish, well, the old Roman Empire with Roman descendants ruling these countries. Now, understand what she's saying, but it's crazy. With the civilized people now having brought back their territories, the old ranks would continue on. But the Moors had created another world power because they were still in part an ancient culture where the lifestyle all interlinked. So the empire had to set aside citizens whose job it was to take care of the international business. Moors, do you understand what she's saying, right? Much like the empire of the Israelites, the same exact people, right, who set aside the Hebrews to do the business, right? Jews, right? To understand what she's saying. This power was the Vatican of Rome, who could no longer be in the religious business because the Moors had already their corporate state of religion. So what do people be talking about? What do people be talking about? Certain Moors talk crazy when this stuff is sitting here. There's no Vatican talk. They're third party to the Moors, based upon treaties that was created before as the guy did that sneak stuff, right? This power was the Vatican of Rome, who could no longer be religious business. Right? In the religious business, so it was always a business. You dare call a Moor a religion? It's a business. And Moor is not a religion. Islamism is the Moor's religion, and that just means that we study the science of peace. And I'm gonna prove it to y'all, sillies. But if you go back, Moors had already a corporate state of religion. So how the hell could the Vatican be up here claiming they took the world over religion if Moors had the corporate state? I'm gonna show you how. From this came the secular treaties, or the Vatican treaties, in which the Vatican became the third party to these Moorish treaties. See how that works? After the civilized had brought back their land titles, and the Moors who had kept international law, civilized tribes, right, brought back their land titles. Well, how the hell did they lose them in the first place? Did they sell them? Exactly. That's why they had to buy them back. See, bought back land titles. And the Moors who had kept the international law. That's why we knew about the goddamn land titles and what the hell that joint doing over there. Like today, right now today, how you can go down south and meet grandmom in so-called Georgia Corporation, right? But then you look across the waters over there in England or Europe somewhere, there's a Georgia Corporation over there with a flag and everything. That's the stuff we talking about. That stuff that happened back then. The fact that how it's a New Jersey here, but it's a Jersey over there. How it's a Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, somewhere else, right? That's not these lands. Somebody came here and put the names on this land and took the titles, the land titles, and put them elsewhere through marriage, right? But we keep going. After the civilized brought back their land titles, and the Moors who had kept international laws or laws of the nation letter perfect, which was created long before the old Greek Empire. Do you understand that the Greek Empire was present-day America at that time? The old Greek Empire was established, and we already had our laws of international and nationhood already established perfectly by the letter, according to this woman here. These treaties of the Americas had to continue under the new nations, which gave the continued power to the Vatican, whose obligation was to fulfill the stipulations of what? The Moorish treaties. So these new nations are the United States, the ones I was just naming, like those, you know, Jersey and all that. Those are the new nations continuing to give power to the Vatican under order of the Moors, whose obligation was to fulfill the stipulation. Now, what was the stipulations? We'll get into that. From this concept was born the church and state rule. For this reason, the Indian Manifesto was given to a representative of Rome, which were the missions in the state of California. So you tell me this, Morris, how could there be a representative in Rome, in California, if this wasn't ancient Rome, if this wasn't the ancient Greek Empire? So mind you, but it was a psychic manifesto, which caused the Vatican to make many trips to visit the Indians of the Americas and the international stuff. So what they're talking about is a psychic controlling of people with words. Who they learn that from? So we skip on. Oh wait. The dragoons were paid $10,000 each and received nothing to this date, not even the cost of paper that was used. So a dragoon is what they were calling the dark-skinned people that weren't Moors anymore. Watch right here. The pirate clause that encompasses the free boot holders and dragoons, right? Because the sellout were not white. They fall under dragoons to take over the occupation, so that there would be no collection of the time history. So these were the people that were selling out. As you obviously see, they were not pale, they were dark skinned, and they were called dragoons. So yeah, we can skip this part. So right here, even the language spoken by the people of Spain under the Moors has been taken off the face of the earth. Well, what language is that? In short, any language that would give a clue to what these American Indian treaties stated as stipulations. Now, understand who set the treaties up. Let's not get carried away here. To really understand this term and what is the functions, what the functions were, you must know the Inquisition. And it was a former tribunal of the Roman Catholic Church appointed to examine the punishers, heretics, right? The punished heretics. So this is the way they set up like present day, how they got like you would think of a cop state or police state and martial law, like beating up. That's the Inquisition. That's exactly what they're saying. Like a tribunal of Roman Catholic Church, right? So a church tribunal, so a church court that's appointing and examining how to punish heretics. So people who don't believe. That could go anywhere. Like, what if you don't believe in sitting down? You don't believe in, anything. You could make that go anywhere. This had nothing to do with religion, because the Vatican at the time in history was a corporate state, right? Fulfilling treaty obligations through international law. With who? The Moors. So guess what, Moors? You weren't allowed to be no damn Christian. You couldn't do those acts, because Christianity was about breaking you away from the family and anything that had to do with the Moors. So why would you follow something like that? Yeah, we gave full reign for people who was Christian. If they found people that look like us going under Christian, do whatever you want to them. Do whatever you want to do to them, because they obviously don't want to honor their parents and mother no more. Like, this is like this, Moors. This is like your brother snitches on you and your whole family to the point where your dad and mother get killed. You honoring your brother still after that? Or is it thus be done you? Meaning you don't care what happened to him, because he obviously don't care what happened to you or your family, even though he your brother. Look at this page over here. If you came across an ancient prayer done daily for centuries against American Indians somewhere on the earth by a religious sect of the Vatican, the prayer of Atlantis, which is to prevent the reawakening of the American Indian time walkers, who could walk the corridors of time and tell you what this language is, you know it's not religion. So understand what this is talking about. This is that Te Deum stuff, that prayer. Because when you look Te Deum up, it's a prayer. But then they calling this the prayer of Atlantis, which is to not get Indians to wake up. Do you understand what they hiding into their, rituals? What were the Indians supposed to wake up to? What were they sleep from anyway? If they already knew they were American Indian time walkers, what did they fall asleep from? What did they have to be reawakened into the mindset of if they were already American Indians? Must have been falling asleep from something, right? We go. Okay, so what was the charge? It says the charge of why they were booking everybody and everything was crazy, like why everybody was getting extinguished and heretics, right? The Arabic language, its role in history by Anwar Changi or whatever, page 81, University of Minnesota Press. The Arabic language forbidden in any shape or form by the inquisitors. So that's what they were banning from the Americas, the Arabic language, because anybody who knew how to speak that, they knew how to read the treaties and knew what position the Vatican was in and wasn't in, right? So the question, why did members of the old Moorish Empire, whose descendants had suffered as slaves, we don't deal with that, not only under the Romans, but Greeks rule also. Okay, what about the damn Carthaginians? What about the Phoenicians? What about the Berbers? I don't like the way they do stuff. They don't say anything. Defeated the civilized Roman members of the empire without any mercy. Permitted the Indians of the Americas to have treaties that presented the legal concept that they won the wars. They did win. When did the Moors ever lose? And you can look that up in the treaties. Okay, Guadalupe. Keep going. So right there, we just established what was the cause of them coming all over to the why was the whole Inquisition done to rid the Americas of the Arabic language? It steps to this. It's steps to how the things got sold out. Understand? So what is the importance of the Arabic language? I know that American Indian prophecies state in the last days, the true Israelites will come to these shores, and join the Indians on the last great migration. But God Almighty, everybody under the sun has come and claimed to be these people. Well, if we put that into some truth, yet they have not shown one tribal denominator that would identify them. Oh, we about to smoke this. We about to smoke, boys. Woo, we about to smoke. Tribal denominator. No, let's deal with it, right? Would be no different traditionally than the one an Israelite would give from his tribe. So we can see what tribe they come from, like a sign, right? Like a sign. This is exactly what we was talking about 10,000 years, right? People don't understand what the signs mean. Watch this. If a member of the Moor Empire ever gave one, it cannot be verified because the records were destroyed. Now watch this. She says that, but then watch the next sentence. There is a small gesture to one on the Eagle Bowl Treaty, what you call the Aztec stone, but I'm not satisfied. The stone is I'm not satisfied the stone is the real one, but made over. See, now I would ask this question. What is this person's problem with not wanting to connect back to the Moorish Empire if you know everything about the Moorish Empire? You know what the funny part about this? The people who follow this lady, like the people today who call themselves like some Indian tribes or whatever, that follow this lady's teachings, they never speak about the Moorish Empire. When they do their teachings, she do, but they don't bring it up. It be having me wondering. It be having me wondering, because like, well, this is for the Indian people. This is for our Kemetic people. If you are a great lover of Egyptian culture and mythology, this place will hold you spellbound, because here is the very spot where Indians wished a combined marriage of two cultures. Bon voyage on the journey to a location that today is known as the Great Pyramids of Egypt. Now watch this. Just imagine a Moor government official visiting and seeing this place. He knew what it meant. He knew what it meant. Now, what did it mean? Right? There are Indians that wished a marriage of two cultures. And what are those two cultures? So-called Indian and so-called Moor, which is the same people. But you see how there's a marriage of that they know about, right? They know they never want to connect back, which is the part that's having me is showing me like y'all sell out. And it's crazy to sell out because you still do it right in front of their faces, even when the heirs have woken up to what's going on. Okay, Aztec stone, treaty bowls, this small gesture, the Moor Empire ever gave one. So this would be our tribal denominator, the treaty bowl or the Eagle Bowl treaty or the Aztec stone. Moors, don't forget that part. Treaty bowl, Aztec stone, and that's what connects the Moors. So now we got this right here. Y'all can look it up yourself. This is all the timeline of the things that happened that brought the Moors into power with a treaty that recognized the Indians that the whole world knew about. Chief King Attila the Hun conquered the remaining European and Asian countries. So this is where he brought in that so-called Mongol ancestry. Dragon Charlemagne. I don't know why she's calling people dragons. Dragon the Chief England. Why would you call the Europeans dragons? White European chiefs. Or what Indians call their leaders, who were elected by clan mothers. So y'all sharing word terminologies with Europeans. I'll never get it. I'll never get it. But Genghis Khan conquered Europe, Egypt. Genghis Khan was the great grandfather of. Yeah, see, exactly. Not even in here. Genghis Khan was the great grandfather of Mongol Kapak. So, and then you see right here the Mongol dynasty of China, the Mongol, right, 13th empire, that ties in to the Americas. Now watch this. Watch this. 13 to 1919. What? 1300 to 1919. Well, let's see what happened. Ottoman Empire by the Turks. The beginning can be linked to the purchase of the civilized territories for the descendants of the old Roman Empire, going back to the power that included the last purchase made by Queen Isabella I, the killing of Caliph Abdallah Ezegal, and the taking of $17 million for that purchase, who was the last Moorish king that signed treaties with the Indians of the Americas. Come on, Moors. 1491. So the treaties was older than that. Gotta understand. So anyway, somehow this guy was murdered, but the damn selling still took place. Well, we'll keep going. So what I want to get to, skip the rest of this stuff. Oh yeah, get to this part. It says in 1493. We go back to this 1491, of course. Ezegal sold his kingdom to Isabella for money. They put his eyes out and made him a beggar. But he had to be kept alive in case any Indian tribe remembered him because of the treaties. Then the world would have to produce Ezegal. Like, yo, I remember who treaty. That's Ezegal treaty. Where he at? Then they'd have to pop him. What the hell? Pop him up. That's crazy. Isabella now makes herself queen of Isabella, meaning they had him in captivity. Isabella herself queen of Spain, made herself queen of Spain, gives Columbus the money to take the trip of the Americas, $8,000. Where did she get the money from? This is from the money from Ezegal. This stuff would have never popped off if it wasn't for the Moors, is what we're saying. He lands in America, October 1492. The Indians were busy setting up a trade route and make no mention of the treaties. Why? Because they was trading with the Moors. He returns to Spain, and the Queen claims for Spain the right to commerce with the Indians. That's that treaty stuff. How would you even know about that? Spain has filed in the International Court of The Hague, the Te Deum, on February 18th, 1493. So we can print that up, get that jump. But Portugal also claims rights because Columbus was a Portugal citizen. They have produced a contract made with Columbus. Now, if he was a Marano, that's why that could be expelled. The Vatican comes to rescue Spain and Columbus, 1493, issues a papal bull to Portugal stating that the territories west of the Azores is the lost continent of Atlantis and belongs to Portugal. How? Atlantis, America? How would that belong to him? Why? Because the Vatican was jacking them treaties and translating them. But they wasn't allowed, of course. The secular treaty of Tordesillas, yeah. And another papal bull. Portugal gets 2.5 miles, so all this crazy stuff. The Vatican now gives all attention to the European people. It creates the court of the Inquisition. Understand? Hundreds of millions of people are either beheaded, burned at the stake, hung for knowing about the Arab languages, the Moorish Empire, the treaties with the Indians. Do you understand these people today acting like this stuff isn't real? They're still under this condition of mind frame? The Vatican is satisfied that knowledge of the old Moorish Empire is no longer known by the civilized European nations. So see, Moors, this ain't about us knowing it. This is about their descendants knowing it. Because they want to have some power over their people. But there is no power unless it comes to the Moors. That's the whole problem. It's about their civilized European nations. So if you call yourself their property, you consider yourself tribal affiliated federal members, yeah. If you consider yourself colored people, yeah, well then you're owned by them. So you go into the effects of everything that they're under treaty for. You are the effect of the treaty if you do that, not the cause of it. Well, who signed treaties with the Indians in America does not exist. So Abdallah Ezegal has been executed. So the existence that signed treaties with the Indians of the Americas does not exist. So here comes this guy, Monk Thomas de Torquemada, my fault. Thomas de Torquemada. They killed him too. They put him on the head of Ezegal in like America to come find all this stuff. He returned this stuff. He found it and returned it. They killed him anyway. I think they'll explain that later. So yeah, they killed Thomas Torquemada. Queen Isabella will die for unknown cause. They was murking everybody that knew about the treaty. When I say everybody, everybody. Remember right here, European nations? They had to get it too. Thomas de Torquemada dead. De Torquemada dead. Queen Isabella will die for unknown causes. Don't y'all know that's the movie The Fountain? Go watch that. The movie The Fountain. Go watch that. In 1504, as will Columbus die for the same causes. They was murking these people and poisoning them. You hear what I'm saying? Same causes, more. Do you know? Man, we'll get to this because all these people was Moorish bloodline, and I'm gonna show y'all what happened to all of them. It's messed up. Which he knew he would. He knew he was gonna die because he knew he was a Marano. Moors. See, there I go. Rome's Vatican Pope Julius II has sent young Italian military and religious leader Caesar Borgia, Jesus, Caesar Borgia, yeah, to the Indian lands to get the trade agreements with the treaties that Ezegal signed with the Indians. Young Borgia returns later and gives the requested documents to Pope Julius II, but it's rumored that 6 of these Indian documents have been seen in Europe. Young Borgia believes he's about to be murdered. So he gives the stuff to his sister, Lucrezia Borgia. More just like a damn action movie. Which Caesar Borgia dies at 31. They got him out of here like Jesus. Pope Julius, they got him out of here like Jesus, then wrote the rest of the story and added 2 years in, 2 months, right? Pope Julius II has little luck in trying to prove the rumors are true or false. So he is relieved of his office by dying and killed him too. Damn. Same year, Giovanni de' Medici becomes Pope. Leo X picks up the rumor that it started to contain the signature of Abdallah Ezegal when he was the king of Spain that ended in 1492. Do understand that he was the king of Spain and Morocco. What? So, or were they considering Al-Andalusia part and parcel of Morocco? Understand that they still consider Spain part of here. Which documents do not? Which, if the documents, if such documents do exist, they must be found before the confrontation can take place against the Indians. So they want to go in. Made in Borgia, much Catholic Church in Rome. Borgia will turn to the Indian documents, monk for exchange for her life. So she gave the damn documents up because she didn't want to get killed. And watch what they did more. The monk was made in Borgia. The monk has more than Maiden Borgia arrested after she gives the monk the goddamn papers. Then takes the documents to Pope Leo X, who now has Maiden Borgia put to death. So they was murking everybody. Civilized history records the documents to be named the Borgia Codex, the Borgianus Codex. Right? Understand that, Morse. And then they were calling. Look at this guy up here. All of the Indian tribes that were part of the trade agreement and the treaties with the Moorish Empire. See, she gave it up in there. They could speak Arabic, had to be deleted, including the Indian Moorish. Indian Moorish. Should be Moorish Indian. Indian Moorish capital of Mora in New Mexico. Now, how the hell did they have a damn land set up, but y'all acting like it wasn't no family? Y'all know about the Just Soleil, but y'all not paying no attention to the Just Sanguine? Cursed heathens. But what did Cortez call the Indians of America? The word was used to identify these citizens who had treaties. According to medieval Latin, they were called Americas. No, they wasn't. Moors. No, they wasn't. We read the damn books ourselves. He said these Moors in Latin. Te Morosi, or whatever the hell they was. Te Morie. They all spoke Latin. So it shows you the Moors still had the power because it was all under our teachings. Same forbidden language. From this same forbidden language, they were identified to have teachings at a grassroots level. Understand? Oh, there you go. The hidden language is Moorish Latin. Yeah, we'll never get there. They'll never drop that because I don't even think they remember what the language is. Remember how this whole thing of they can't remember certain stuff? That's funny. That's funny. We remember it all, but they don't remember it. And they're the ones that got all these deals with the damn people we told them not to have deals with. So we keep going. Gotta get to another part because it gets crazy. This whole book, as you see. So this part gets funny. We deal with Moor, a person of mixed Berber and Arab blood inhabiting Morocco and the South Mediterranean coast. Any Muslim peoples who invaded Spain. What about Andalusia? Can you invade your own home? What about the people who was there that wasn't from there? Are they invaders? In the 8th century, Moorish adjective. That's it. There is no more. Like, why are you so hyped? Shut you down real fast because I see how hype she began. But look at where her people go through. Middle Dutch. Wait, if we take the history of the word that as people use it is less above continent. Middle Dutch meaning to fasten, put together. So from Middle Dutch, more means to put together something. Now Moors, didn't we start with a maxim meaning to divide? Well, if more means to put something together, what the hell are you putting together? If the lands was divided in the first place. Here we go. And then the lands, hemispheres, are our mind, Moors. The father and the son, or the mother and the son. That's the mind. The right brain and the left brain. The eastern and western hemisphere. Once you bring that mind together as one, you get a maxim, okay? That's what I'm saying. It's more of a scientific thing, and it's not a land. That's why I'm saying I don't think he meant a maxim is the land. I think that's a science that we have to do. A maxim of reconnecting our brain that was divided. Divide and conquer. Okay, so Middle Dutch, Old English describing condition of land or territories that is high, rolling, waste, or marshy. Rolling waste, like the dung beetle. that makes the perfect ball like the sun. Anyway. Merska, or Morse lowlands. So there is no reference in European language, new or old, that its use can be tied to a culture, language, or nation of people. Wow. Land, mother, land, right here, or sister, daughter, whatever, whoever you are. Land is how you connect to the nation. Land, fool, land. Land. And then the religion is the more of tying and fastening it together. What are you putting together? You're putting together the fact that the land tied back to the people through the mother. I know Guy in the Chakra very well. And it ain't called no damn, what do you call it? Tribal mothers of the Iroquois Confederation. It's called the Guyana Chagwa binding agreement or treaty. You had a peace and friendship treaty here first. The Indians did it first with each other, but then they forgot what the hell the whole point was, and it was an ancient empire that they tied to. That Christian Bible did y'all in. There's no reference that can be found in Africa or Mediterranean either. Why? Because it's in America, Morris. Of 17 million people in Morocco, Arabic is the major spoken language, Shula, Tamazight, Riffian, French, and Spanish, but no Moorish language. I thought she said it was destroyed. You can't say it's destroyed and wiped off the face of the known earth and then say you can't find it. Of course, nobody modern there knows the Chem language or the Moorish Latin language. Of course not. As American Indian, you get to know that white man, here we go, capital W, no IGHT, the colored people that don't exist, who gives names as well as steal them. For Dakota, he came with the CO, which is French. Old French describes, well, then that means that ain't the name of them. Simple as that. A type of drunkard. So why would you still call your people that if it means, European drunkard or French drunkard? They'll say, oh, we know the word mean Ethiopian burnt face, but then still call their people that. Today is people calling themselves that. And here we go with this mind sunkenness of South Seal. They mean be drunken Frenchmen, and you still that. Okay, I don't get it. North and South drunk. North and South Dakota. There is another, he kept straight, Minnesota. So I don't know. Just don't call yourself that. It would be stand no reason that he stole the word more from the Indians so he could hide the true word for a culture, language, people of an empire. If he did, it would have been for a damn good reason. Well, because I was about to say, that's exactly what happened. I don't like the way this lady is like going. It's like I could tell when people is uncomfortable speaking about stuff because they do this type of shit. I know what word this is. Everyone knew the Indian meaning of this word. They also knew where the location is and the place, and according to the social laws. So the people that signed the treaties with the Indians of the Americas knew the tribal laws. So whoever these people were, they knew the tribal laws. Had to mean they were the same. If you knew the tribal laws, yeah. Oh, these people are crazy. These people are crazy. You can know the language, know the damn customs, know the damn mother's like birth hair. Yeah, we still not the same. The hell is wrong with these people? Just as urge is given to the white race, whoever that is, who is in our lands, it tells the exact position of its people are at the end of their culture from the original and the exact spiritual beliefs. Likewise, the Indian name given to these people from an empire they had treaties with will follow the same tribal tradition. Mora. Remember that city down there? And I remember that when she named that city, the what does she call it? The Indian Moorish city, right? Remember that? Indian Moorish community of Mora in New Mexico. Remember that? Look at this. It is expression, not a word. How about it's a land, not a word? Gosh, these people. It starts with gentle sadness. Why? What do you mean? They came from either original homeland, and they knew that they had an exact number of years and days before they would disappear off the face of the earth as a culture and lifestyle. Who? What are you talking about? The expression now builds to gentle love. They believed in the Creator's day. He knew the separate cycles of the great serpent. The expression is straight. They were a light-skinned tribe. See, that is so colored, especially if you're Caucasian skinned talking like this. Because this is crazy. How do you say that? So is this them saying that they're the Mora? I don't get it. I don't get it. Is this them saying this is how you could have Europeans and the Indian tribes? Because they're Moors? The Mora tribe? Because we're an empire. I don't know what a tribe is, but okay, well, the light-skinned tribes, the Moras in New Mexico. Okay. Let's construct some Roman history from the times after Ezegol got back from the territories, descended the Roman Empire, the Romans, Greeks, Persians, the Arabs. They did not call them Moors, but Iranians, who were the Afrius Empire. Oh, she lying. Now she just straight lying. Well, what did the Latin definition of the 8th century say about the people who were the Marusi? They said they were from Mauritania. And it was the Greeks who called them black and then said that black meant the African tribes and all that. It's them people that want to stick us to Africa and nowhere else in the world, even though we have treaties that predate these Europeans and these Indians treaties. Makes you wonder, Moors. Just makes you wonder. To these remaining Moors, oh, now we back to Moors, not Mora no more? Okay. So to these remaining Moors, there was a great surprise. There was brought to the great Justinian courts to be charged with a crime that the judges said was a violation of international law. What was the violation? The great hideous the sight of this. What was this thing that they were bringing brought to court for? This is the funniest part here, Moors. The Moors are being brought to international court now for international crimes, supposedly. What were they doing? Let me just read through. I ain't never read through this part down here before, but the crime of this old dumb Sioux boy who was a scholar of hate and hate languages, not a scholar in hated languages, is looking at a reference to jumper left him in the face, reconstruction of the opportunity, facsimile, men of letters, credential filled pages. So this boy found them. Jurisprudence for any legend. Here we go. But so wait. Oh yeah, how did these Moorish ethnic tribal members and small groups defeat the mighty Roman Empire, who had Moorish tribal members that supported the Roman Empire? These members that supported the Roman Empire are the American Indian, of what the American Indians will call today sellouts, red apples, red handed, the Moriscos. And don't you get too carried away, because y'all got Christianed up too. Yeah, so get to the main, back to the parts. Because it was a date she listed, and it was like, wait, put me right back on. Oh, here it is. Here it is right here. One of these British scholars had completed their arrangement and passed it to the monastery. The Bible translation from the new language had 25 letters borrowed from the Greek and 7 from the Demotic, that was Egyptian. So it was the original Christians' belief in language of the Moors, who separated themselves from others in 1451 AD. That holds up with the fascination because the Christian Bible is based on Aristotle's model of the Delphic priesthood of Apollo, the Dark Ages conspiracy. So understand, Moors, remember that whole thing about the writing and the changing of time with the Chalcedon Creed, the Council of Chalcedon, and then they wrote up that version of Jesus where the body was God, and they separated it from the mind being God or the spiritual aspect of God, and said the body is also God. That was false. So this is why the Moors didn't want nothing to do with what the hell they was talking about, because they started to actually worship the body as God. Oh, that's the separation right there. So we'll get into it. So there was something wrong in 451 AD. And she didn't even know, mention that it was the Chalcedon. But if the Moor translations of the Bible and its language had to be destroyed off the face of the earth in the early 1500s, right, in Aristotle's system of self-hypnosis as the Christian belief is back, what great spiritual truths did the old Moorish translation have that helped them rule the earth for 700 years, Moors? Understand that wasn't no damn religious book, like she said. This book was it was a book of divine sciences, free energy, how to control gravity, all of that good stuff. Sound resonance, semantics, right? Like when they show you the little experiment, when there's sand on the large disc, they play sound through like a tubing, and then it makes the sand on the round disc go into these fascinating shapes that remind you of the six-pointed star. Tetrahedrons going on. Anyway, if Bishop Cumberland spoke, wrote, and read as a master of the modified language of the original Chem language, and this mastery of the language was the alleged Christian Bible taken from the Moors, which was in the original Chem language, in the past 451 AD, had separated from the original or from the other Christian sects, why is there disputes to the original Chem language? Okay, so there it goes. There it goes. The original Chem language, aka the language that came from Egypt. But get this, in 1799, the French found the famous Rosetta Stone, which alleged that 14 lines of the Chem language, 2 lines of the Archaic Greek, and 54 lines of the medieval Greek. Now, the Archaic Greek and Chem language, no scholar can dispute. However, it is the medieval Greek that opens the new jar of worms. Why would they go away from the Chem? But the new language had none of the alphabetic characters of the original Chem, but 7 letters from the Archaic Greek and 25 from the modern Greek. So understand, they're trying to say that Chem is the ancient Greek language. Didn't she say that didn't I show you that this is the old Greek Empire? Great Greece. So please have it duly noted that the language she's speaking about has nothing to do with today's Greek. Now, this part right here, remember, Moors, I told you, remember the tribal denominators, right? Here goes one right here. It is a general idea to the international dignitaries and their entourage present, both Moorish and American Indians who signed Ezegal's Eagle Bowl Treaty. What do that tell you? The Moorish and the American Indians signed it. American Indians is Moorish Americans. That's all that means. They got to get out of here with that. Eagle Bowl Treaty. Ezegal's Eagle Bowl Treaty, what is better known today is the Aztec Stone. So wait, you mean to tell me that the treaty that Ezegal had before he signed that crap and got himself killed was the Aztec Stone? AKA the Eagle Bowl Treaty? Well, I'm about to blow you out the water when I get finished with this document, which is right here. Wow, we at the end. So when Ezegal sold his kingdom, let me go back, because y'all got to get how deep this is. Eagle Bowl Treaty. But today, at this time, there are religious organizations throughout the world who go by this name of human torture. Moors? What? It could be called Church of Cut Off, to hollow out with a knife. So you got religious orders that do this, organizations, human tortures. Oh, why? To split, dug out with knife, and castrate the men and feed the medicine to the women. What medicine? Watch this. So when Ezegal sold his kingdom to Isabella, guess what happened to the Moorish men and women? The men were had their complete penis dug out with a knife, and they were then castrated, while the women were forced to take known pharmaceutical chemical that made them barren for the rest of their lives. This same pharmaceutical chemical was used on Dakota women to keep their tribe race low in numbers when I was a small boy, and the chemical this chemical is much improved today and can be found in many modern medicines back in the 30s, known to cause cancer. Right, Morris? The fuck, what you think they were doing? So we get to the bottom right here. It says, one has to admit that such a solution would appear simple and binding to legal records of history, but there are many secret and covert operations against the Indian perpetually that conclude to a known ramification by unknown to the Indians. Oh, by unknowns to the Indians. So the ramification becomes a question to the Indian. Why was the Moorish race wiped out? And this is what the reason. Because they were the original white man, the original aboriginal tribe of the white race. I don't know what she means by that, because she gets on my nerves with the color. But we see right here, that's set in direct. What did we get? We covered a lot in that. And what was the main part? This part right here. That Caliph Ezegal is the manifestor of the treaty that shows that Moors have a tribal denominator. And it's that goddamn Aztec stone. Why is that important, Morris? So we can get this out of here. Get that out. And we go to this guy. Yo. So it's Tonatihuacan. Tonatihuacan. It's like crazy because the other one is just Tonatico. But Tonatihuacan, this guy it means the house of the sun. The house of the sun, right? That's who he is, this guy right here. And it's funny, Morris, because look what the document that he's on. Codex Borgia. Ain't that the name of the document that they said that the Vatican had? So understand that the Codex Borgia, I'm gonna go to it, is this. It's all the pages of the stories of how we set our empires up. Do you know that they wrote that in a book called the Holy Bible? Look at this. This is all our people. And you're supposed to know how to read this. See sacrifice going on? You're supposed to know how to read that, because this is Arabic. This is hieroglyph. These are all sacrifices of a tree being split open and the bird coming out. This is the one doing the cutting. This is all ritualistic. Look, see? The serpent of time being sliced. These are the cosmic galactic, or the cosmic council creating like time for us. But this is the documents, see, cutting up all the time creatures. They represented time in the cosmos. They was slicing them up. But this is what the Aztecs knew about. I mean, this is what the Vatican knew about, and what they translated into become the Bible, and what led to people ruling and all that other stuff. Codex Borgia. Now, why is this important? Because of Tanatu. That's who he is. The one in red. Go back. This guy. Watch this, Morris. Tonatio. Mesoamerican religion. Nahua, sun deity of the fifth and final era, the fifth sun. Moors. Fifth sun, that's Noble Drew Ali all day. What are you talking about? Fifth sun, fifth age, fifth year? We already did with the years and being time, right? And how that manifests with the sun, right? Ain't that goddamn Aquarian age? Ain't this Noble Drew Ali? Again. Associated with the eagle at sunrise and sunset. that Maghreb, right? And English version is the deity of who's the Pope. So understands dealing with human sacrifices. That doesn't mean killing yourself. It means killing part of your nature off. Right? Here we go to Aztec calendar. So he's that deity on the Aztec calendar, the one with his tongue out. This deity right here. That's what's his name? Tenoku, Tonatu. This is the document right here. So this is what Ezegal brought. Why is that important, Morris? Get all of this out the way. We about to blow your mind right now. We already got with him. These people with this Meredith lady, this is their little stuff. They talking about they got the Camel's Eye Treaty from 408 AD, Seal of Peace. Where? Like what? Oh, Camel's Eye. Okay, so y'all just trying to smoke weed. The sovereign signatory clan mothers. Okay, but y'all they don't talk about they don't name Guyana Shakwa not once in this thing. Look, 408. So y'all just trying to skip before anything, not say nothing about the Moors. Look, copying and care of who they get. Who do you learn this? Where did you learn this from? Not telling you no real law, just the Roman Empire. What is that? Who was the ancient Roman Empire? Eagle Bowl Treaty. Who signed that? Ain't Ezegal signed that? So why are they talking about some 401? What are they talking about? Camel Eye and the ISIS stuff. Bro, no law. They don't show no law. Here you go. Meredith Quinn. Meredith Quinn. Not to go in, but this the lady who wrote that travel stuff. We got to deal with it. Like, these people making shit up. Here we go. It's copying off of the Cujo documents and some other documents about Canada. This is right on rvpublications.com when they was talking about Cujo getting his temple, and then the prophet getting sent documents from the people in Canada saying, come visit us because we like what you're doing. What is this stuff? Crown of England. We don't deal with none of that. When we, as Moors, we know who we are. When you read her book, it's crazy. Here it go right here. 451, right? Beta, New England, Christian Bible. She doesn't name what this is. This is the Council of Chalcedon. When they made Jesus, his body could be God and his spiritual nature could be God too, meaning men could be God. That's what did this. This is where you start seeing popes instead of mothers. But she's not telling you that. She's trying to tie it into some sisterhood covenant of clan mothers. 408. Who are y'all? That never happened. Eye of Isis. That's Egypt. What are you talking about? Secret books of the Bible, the wars of the Lord. 52 nations from the Iroquois Confederacy, 52 nations, 5 + 2 is 7. But it's funny because when you read the Guyana Shakwa, it says 48 originally. Then they added 2 mothers in to become 50. She's going off, I don't know where she's going. The exception of the 5, 6, and 7 nations that were Indian tribes created by George Washington, who signed treaties with them. So how are you going to create the damn Indians and then sign treaties with the Indians? This is what they was doing. Iroquois Confederacy is not the Guyana Shakwa. They were part and parcel of the Iroquois Confederacy. But it was set up by the prophet who was at the time of the Huron tribe of Mississippi. So let me get this. Let me show y'all why I'm hot about this crap. Because we've been putting work in. You get these. Look at this. What the fudge is going on? You got fake seals and crap going on. People signing their names. Sovereign signatory clan mothers. Mary Jane. And y'all trying to, so the whole point is so y'all can smoke y'all weed. Look, cannibalism. That's cannabis. Give me a break. So y'all just trying to smoke y'all weed. Postmaster, notary on the land. How? You're not Moorish Empire. You're not connecting to not Moorish Empire. You talking about some Indian stuff. These are Europeans. I know it's Europeans with their names up on this. Look, see, y'all copy off. And this is the crazy part. They're saying who has correct ruling and everything without knowing stuff like this. The rules on a loan. Qarth, right? Qarha. And then the issue. So the whole point of this is, was the deals that we did as Moors with all these nations, were they true and de jure based upon Moorish law, Muslim law, whatever you want to call it? Was it true? Lending is one of the highest recommended acts. Emphatic extortions are related in the Noble Quran. The noble prophets' sunnah, or way, the way of the prophets, which is our way, the Moorish way, and the narrations of the infallible Abdullah Bait, whoever that is, peace be upon them all. It has been related to the messenger of Allah, peace be upon him, and his family, that he who loans money, loans a Muslim alone, expecting his good fortune in it, his wealth is asking to be zakah, and this deed is in the prayers of the angels until it is paid. So Moors, we don't charge anybody all extra interest. This is important because, do y'all know about this? Anybody know about this? Because we got people talking, but this is a thing. How is this here? What is this? What do you mean black Sulu, not Zulu, Islamic gold loan? There was a gold loan? Secretary, okay. All right, what? September 18th, 1954? What? Like, so yesterday, okay, Sultan Muhammad Ismail Karim? Huh? Sultan. Today. F it. We're going to go right here. This is the total. This is the add up total. Attestio. Oh, it's in Latin. Who'd have thought? What is this up here? Sultan of somebody? All right. So we got the Sultan of the Sulu in the Vatican. Yeah, look, Vatican's Papa Seals. Okay, yeah. That's that. Okay, so we got a Vatican seal, we got a Sulu seal, and what are we giving up? What are we giving this Vatican as the loan? 14,000 MTAU. That's gold. March 10th, 1954. How much is that? Over $15 million US. Oh, wait, why is the money converted into our fiat over here in the corporations? Why is it converted into this? Moors, like, why would they be paying it in damn dollars? Don't you know that puts the United States into this? Go all the way down here to the corner, right? 51.7 billion. UN knows about this. The UN, they know about this. The Vatican knows about this. 1% annual. We were supposed want interest. 20 annual, 20 years. 1% interest. No interest supposed to be on there. Ain't supposed to be no interest. But you're dealing with these crabs. But anyway, 51.7 billion. We supposed to be seeing all of that. Where did that go? And who the hell is Sultan Muhammad Ismail Karim? I'm gonna show you. Look at this bloodline right here. Look at this chart. There go that seal I was trying to show y'all. It's a flag of the royal Hashemite, Sultan of Saba, right? X blue star. What is this? This look like the flag that we used to. This don't say Allah. Sorry, Allah. This got the crescent star and moon. What's going on? The eagle meets the lion. Well, what are we looking at? Sultan of Hashemite. A Sultan of Sulu. So the Sulu and Saba. Where the Moros at is the question. We all know that this is all Moros. How come they're not calling them Moros? And I asked that question importantly. So we see the bloodline right down here. We get to Sultan Muhammad Ismail Karim right here. Right here. Out of his birth, you get Sultan Muhakuta Karim, and then all these people. Do you Prince stuff from the Prince Al-Mazar? So it's crazy. Crown Prince. Green. Crown Prince. Don't you know what happened? Oh man, they sold out, Morris. Not on purpose, but they married into the false bloodline after they got this dude's family line out of here. Know how they do. Not line of succession. Broken. Broken. They have a false line of succession that keeps going over here. Oh, through the wife? Oh, and I know why, too. These people aren't one nation. They were mixing people. I'm going to show you how. All this stuff. Princesses cut off. Queens cut off. All right. Who is this? Princess? Yeah, cut off. So, because they was making them marry. So you can't keep the name proper. Crown Prince, Sultan. All these are Sultan. Then we get Crown Prince. No more nothing. Everybody's done. So this is the crazy part. Let's look at who Sultan Muhammad Ismaili Karim is. Sultan Ismaili Karim. This is him. This is him. Who officially transferred sovereignty rights over Sabah in 1962 to the Republic of the Philippines. So let me go back. That's blood right here, Sulu on the left. He gave up this blue stuff to supposedly the Philippines, right? But now listen, Morris, he gave it to the Philippines, Republic of the Philippines. Who are they? Are they Moros or are they the Republic of the Philippines? The latter. See? Philippine International Convention, nothing Islamic about him. He's just up there screaming. Senator, somebody, yeah, reclamation of Sabah. So after he sold it, somehow these people came and brought it back like it wasn't de jure what he did. Transferred sovereignty rights of their nation, right? Because who he was. They don't say nothing about him giving that money to the loan. They never say nothing about the loan he gave to the Vatican, though. Not a word. How was rented out? Sabah was rented out. Mexican gold. So now we see how the United States currency got involved. They were spending with United States currency or continental currency. And this would be considered our Andalusian money when it comes to the treaty. We right in there because it'll be on the same footing as it is in Spain. So from here to go to this is the actual document that they got up. Office of the Sultan of Sulu of North Borneo. This is subjugated, Morris. Can you not see the subjugation? Subjugated. You got the Arabic writing up here. You got the, but they're not saying nothing about being Moros. I am simple man, whatever. My grandfather, Sultan Ismail Karim I, transferred sovereignty rights over Sabah to the Republic of the Philippines on September 11th. Morris. September 11th, 1962. What the European know about with this date? Everything. Upon his death on like 12 years later, 12, see, that's a magic number. His eldest son, my father, Sultan Mohammed, right? Karim assumed the title of Sultan in the state of Sulu and all its districts and dependencies upon my father's death in 1986. His eldest son, first the Raja Munda, the king, the crown prince, and so on. See, it's crazy because I know where they split off at and why they did it. So New Zealand, is this oh, here it go. Yeah. This is a document I found. The $15 quadrillion Vatican Sultan of Sulu deal that would have sunken the planet. So obviously certain people know about this that are European and they talk down upon it. They talk about the discovery of America in 1492 and the Spanish and Nina the Pinta and all that. Nobody ever talks about the Moors. Pissed me off with this. Why is all of this important? Because we go to this right here before we headshot the city. We go to the Journals of Congress. And I want to show y'all respectively what power the Indians had and who they were under back then and who recognized it. Because everybody acting like they don't want to give, nobody knows anything anymore these days. So we'll just get this right in control here. We got July 17th. So y'all know where we going. July 18th, 1787 is a perfect place to start. Morris, bake y'all heads real quick. Start right here where it say resolved and read that. Let's read that. And what do it say? Oh, sorry. What does it say? The superintendents of Indian affairs be instructed to make public in foregoing resolutions and to govern themselves accordingly. Accordingly to what? On a report from the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, to whom was referred a treaty lately concluded with the Emperor of Morocco. Congress ratified the said treaty in the manner of the form following. And then they drop the treaty on your head. The crazy part to know about this is that up here, you can see that the Indians was going through it with the Congress, having all these little fights, war with respect to the Indian chiefs. They couldn't get it together. All the Indian tribes was going at it with all the states, right? So you know what our treaty did? Communications with the United States and Congress from the Indian tribes ought to be made through the superintendents of the Indian affairs. So that superintendent of Indian affairs govern themselves accordingly to the treaty. Now, how can we prove that to y'all? We show this is the treaty right here, as we know. Thomas Barclay, where we got Tahir bin Abdullah finished. So we know that's the treaty. We get right down to here, where it says, okay, this part. This is with the secretary and all them. They was dealing with the Wabash Indians and the beefs they was having with them, the wars and all that, the Shawnees and all that. And what it say? That the superintendent of the Indian Affairs of the Northern Department, so they were a department, and in case he be unable to attend, then Colonel Josiah Harmer immediately proceed to the post of St. Vincent's or some other place that's more convenient in his opinion. For holding a treaty with those Indians. Informed the Congress. That Congress is sincerely disposed to promote the peace and friendship between their citizens and the Indians. So after the treaty pops off, all the Indians start getting treaties written from the states with them that was based off of peace and friendship between the citizens of the United States and the Indians. What's the confusion, right? Then after those treaties were set up to where we had the states recognizing the Indians in a certain way, right? And then us just directing all of this through the government of it. You get down to this. Skip. Skippity skip. Everybody who studies know where we're going. And this is all about the Creek Indians. And here it goes. This pops off afterwards. Which came to be the Constitution. So from the treaty led to the Americas writing, the United States citizens doing treaties with the so-called Indian tribes that they had the treaties with. This is all that's going down. And then out of that, the Constitution pops off. Oh, here we go, right here. September 20, yeah, here it go. December 28th, 1787. So then you get the treaty. The Constitution. So see how far back the treaty was, and then all the stuff that took place. Then it was a Constitution because they had everything kind of in order. Then this is how we're going to govern upon it. So let's do some understanding of who the hell this empire was. Y'all see why we Asiatics? Because in this map, we got Africa right here, we got Europe, and we got Asia, but Asia stretches over to this part, which is North America today, Asia. And then South America is the America we know, right? So then we go past the Tropic of Capricorn, go down here, and look at this. Antarctica, right? Antarctica. But they call this Australia, the terra land of Australia, right here, right? But it connects to South America? I thought this was supposed to be over there. But well, when you go over here, this is the region of Brazil. Indian Ocean connects to Brazil, and then the other side of Brazil is Australia. Ain't no snow on this land. Well, see, I just showed y'all a new map. So let's dibble around here. What do we have going? Oh yeah, there we go. This is the Pangea stuff everybody gets all hyped about. And they're talking about Europe. Pangea is not even talking about, now I don't know why the prophet said a Mexum and not Pangea when it comes to the divide. Because you see, over here, America's like blurred out and blanked out. Ain't no America for some, look, it's blanked out. South America, blanked out. And you come over here, Europe all together on top of Italy, France, and that they call that the Pangea. No bueno. No bueno. That ain't no gut. No. Prophet was more right. Deal with this joint. This is the heart map, like both sides of it. This is Australia. Hold on. That's Australia, right? South Tropic. That's South America. America. And then it goes all around. It's like kind of, you would have to look at the other map to get that side of it. Then you got Africa and all this stuff. But it just shows you that we're Asian. Okay. Now you already see the party happening. Okay. All right. This was important. You see, this Moor right here is about to get married to this looks like a mother from China, a woman from China. So what we got going on here is when the European was sitting back and watching this, recording it, and then bringing people from other lands and following the same customs that we had. But it would mess up the bloodline because it would be somebody else in there. I'm gonna show y'all this. In Malaysia, it has, okay. In Malaysia, it has been rare for hybrid identities to survive into the modern period. For economic expediency, the British divided the indigenous Malay, Indian, and Chinese. Those are all Moros, right? They divided these Moros, diasporas, by occupation and therefore also by geographic location. In part, this was similar to the divide and conquer policies used by the British elsewhere in the colonies, including between the Hindu and the Muslim communities in India. That's Moro. It just sounds like a broken record, right? Moro. I'm gonna show you why. I say that. So we can go to this. This right here is one of the things I'm talking about. Who is this Chinese lady that this Moor is marrying? Look at his brothers. They look like us, right? Look at the Moor. Look at the Moor with the party hat. He got the party. No, this Moor right here. He got the party hat on, right? Everybody fezzed up. Super fezzed up, but everybody fezzed up. But he's marrying a Chinese woman, different cultures, right? Same blood, the culture gets different. So she comes out looking like that, which looks Chinese, right? And we like this though. That's how we is. What? Uh-oh. Well, you see this? Moors? Damn, gosh, try to show y'all small Moros. Small Moros Island of Mandano, right? Mandingo, but this is over here. Watch this. Or no, this is so-called Philippines. Now watch this. Watch this, Moors. It's Philippines, all right. It's Philippines, all right. It's Philippines. What is this? Is that the banner? Okay. Look at my young boy. If that don't look like how we look, I don't know what y'all be looking at. He looked like mixed, like Jeezy grandpa. This look like some nigga on the corner. So do all of them. Like, look at the gang. So all right, get out of there. They got an American flag for no reason. Young Prince. Look how he's sitting. This sitting style is even remarkable. This is the ruling what do they call it, staff. You give this to a European and let them hold it when they come to the land if they trying to buy some. Look, Sultan of Sulu, right? This is the people who got the money. This are the people who America owe right now. The Vatican owes these people, right? We wasn't supposed to know this. Third party agreement, we wasn't supposed to know this, but I just broke down to y'all the whole seal, the whole connection, everything that they was talking about in the Dakota Time Walkers. I'm showing y'all now. Look, here go part of the stuff. How do y'all two get down with the mothers? How are y'all two down there? Why? Because some young boy was making them his daughter, his mothers. Like he was marrying them because the British East India Company was bringing them in, strangely mixing. Right? Let me go to that mother I had up in here. It was a mother. Oh, there she go. Powerful. So this is what you gave up. You ain't want her no more. You don't want her no more. For some, I don't know, reason. You don't want her no more. There she go in the color. You don't want her no more. Look at what everything is just put together right. You don't want her no more. You want this. You want her. But see what happened to what happens to the bloodline? See what happens to the children, how they start looking? They start changing. They start looking more like that. And he start looking more like that. I mean, her face powdered, by the way. So you already seen what they was on. This is what happens. This family used to be morals. Like see young boy back? But now one young boy got the fez on, everybody else just doohickey. All the women out there just no turban, nothing. Sitting right, but wrong. Like subjugated. These look like Chinese imports. You know, but it's crazy. And now look at this. Look at this craziness. Like all these are the new people now after the mixing start happening. These are new people. This is the king. He don't even got a damn, or I don't even want to call him king. He the ruler. No turban on, no fez. See? It's like he don't care about the tradition. All he knows is he in a new land from this. These mothers. See, now you see how the look is different? That look is how we be looking. She look a little bit more Asian. But that look is the look we be having. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd the men go? Look. They was ready to do it. They was, now see how look like more in a corner, look like mixed more, look like Pacquiao, look like more in a corner, who knows, Pacquiao in the back, Pacquiao in the front, more in a corner, Pacquiao or Indian guy, more and more. They were all the same people. European was the only one that came here and start picking out stuff from it. See, this is original. Look, dark as hell. They so dark and make people mad when they see it, and they don't look like that today. They feel like they're not connected. You see the sash? They feel like they're not connected. You connected, it's just your skin differences. Ain't nothing but that. Look at this. Look at this one. Grandpa. I mean, marrying with this whatever thing. And it changed the bloodline forever, and it leaves the bloodline at, where was it at? Oh, here we go. This is what happens to your bloodline. So you got the little feathers, but they're a little wider now. The tassels a little stringy, some little thing on there. We don't know what it is. You got the, the clothing, but it don't fit no more. It's flimsy. You got the mothers that they honor, but they look a little different. you know, the culture's changed. They got all our stuff though, and they never passed it back down. Oh, let me go back. You see the young boy with the crescent moon, the horseshoe. Morris, no, these people took everything that we had. Like when we were doing it and our not caring about what. Like, look at this wedding, amazing. We didn't care. We was living like this. Umbrella, you know what I mean, holding an umbrella and shit, we're just chilling. Look at this. They ain't give a fuck. This is the real ruler bull. This is the emperor. Him. I think I got him up close. It was him. Oh, this when he got a little older. That's when he got older, and that's the emperor before him. I think that's Karim. Oh no. Haji. Oh, Haji Butu. Haji. Oh snap. New stuff every day more. There you go. Haji from Johnny Quest. Haji. And the other bull was his man's. And they was just the emperor. Oh, here you go, bull. They was the two bulls. See the stick. So I don't know what happened. Oh, this is just, y'all need to understand this one. Look at this. Look, that's crazy. Look at this, man. What, like, look at the old head. Yeah, I mean, he got the stick, he the ruler. So that's just crazy. Now, before we get out of here, I'll show y'all why all that goes to make sense. So this is talking about the immigration of the Muslim descendants to North Africa, right? Where the Moors come from, right off the rip. Moor was a minority of Northern Africa. Okay, forget that. We're going to skip through because these people did a lot of color stuff in this. But it's certain parts that I want to show y'all to clear up a lot of the stuff they be saying about Moors. Moors and Mauritanians who reside in the open small Sahara Desert. No. Okay. Simply, Moor, so right here, simply Moor in Spanish coming from the Latin, Mori. So remember, Moor in Spanish coming from Latin, Mori. And Greek, Moros, is an appellation to the community or nationality, right? Which is formed by the mixed blood, not skin color, mixed blood of Arabians residing in North Africa, Spanish, Berbers, African natives, and blacks who believe in Islam. No such thing as blacks. Everybody in Africa, the original Berbers, Spanish, anybody who could speak Spanish, Northern Africa, anybody could speak Arabian. That's what it means by the same blood. You can't mix blood. It's just the same people. Mori is not black, like the Greeks say. It's the Latin, and it means a nationality. Moor, coming from Latin, meaning Mori, is an appellation to a nationality. So what else is good? In this one, we get right here, the followers ask what place to go. The sage points out Abyssinia. So that shows you originally that Ethiopia thing, they knew it as Abyssinia. Prophet has said Ethiopia, but just because that's where the people was at. He said, I came to all y'all who love Jesus too, but that's not the main point, right? So that North Africa was rapidly Islamicized. That's impossible. You can't Islamicize somewhere that was already peaceful. So Al-Andalusian civilization. Oh, and Arabian digits from 0 to 9. So we brought the science. Mixing Arabian Berbers. Speak Arab. So now we get to the whole point of the Moors in the Philippines and the Moros. I already had a part that I want to show you. Oh, here we go. The Mulampi Guo, right? Africa and archaeologists shows that this time of Chinese exchange with the areas controlled by the Moors was quite frequent. The Mulampi Guo, mentioned in China history, is a book, right? In fact, it's another translation of Maghrib. So Mulampi Guo is the Maghrib. So when you're speaking to a Chinese person, You don't tell them, oh, the Maghreb. They might not know what that is, but they might know what the Mulanpi is. The Mulanpi Gur. May know, may not, but say that instead of Maghreb because it'll be a better chance. Ships made by Mulanpi Gur were tremendous and were called the Mulan ships. So more, remember the Asiatic woman that had to act like a man just to be respected among the men, you know, and then it was all about Mulan ship, and that's secretly called Maghreb. So Mulan is even Maghreb or Moorish. It even goes back to Moorish with Mulan. So one ship could contain several thousands of people, and there were drinking stores. So you mean to tell me the Mulan ship was a goddamn bar? It was a club on the waters. You could drink there. The Moors as a nation with Islamic commercial spirits and blood heritage of the Arabian businessmen undoubtedly were the forerunners and main characters in the transportation in Tang and Song dynasties. Moors, we can't say that we can't deal with commerce. We can't say that. We cannot say that. No. How about this? Islamic commercial spirits. So it has to be spiritual. So if it's divine first and you understand the divine, then you can deal with the commercial. But you cannot deal with the commercial unless you understand the Islamic spirits. That'll serve you right. All these people that don't want to be who they are, you can't even deal with commerce unless you Islamic. It said right here. Moors did that. Never mind. So Buntan in the southern Philippines sent emissaries to China presenting Condor slaves. I looked up the Condor slaves, the African Negroes as studied, who were probably sold by Moro businessmen. So the African Negroes are Moros or Moors. So why would Moro businessmen sell them, Condor slaves? And watch this. And this shows Africans had to come to the south of the Philippines just because their assimilation of the Orthodox Arabian Muslim businessmen. The Arabian language and Islamicism gradually became the local North African citizens' language and religion. The Northern Africa culture became part of the Arabian culture. So part and parcel. So there we go, right there. North African culture became part and parcel of the Arabian culture, and that was all about Islamic commercial spirit, right? Blood heritage, to where we set up the whole, what do you call it? The Silk Road and all that. That couldn't happen unless we was all together. African Negroes, well, if you're selling people to do business on contract, that's not selling a slave. That's literally me going to get my skilled Moor to go do business for another Moor under contract. I got to get paid. That Moor got to get paid. That's getting the work done, or he has to pay. And then the Moor doing the work has to get paid. So I got to get paid. The Moor doing the work got to get paid. And then the work getting done to this Moor's establishment is the work he gets, or is the payment that he gets. So everybody gets paid equally. So there's no such thing as slave. You know that, but you know that they'll always write it. Secondly, as a silk route in the sea connected through the different places, so just the same thing I was saying. From there we go Sudan. So then we go more business. It was another part. It's farther. There's another part about like commerce and how that affected. Okay, Moors and Moros. I think it's in this part. It was about how the commerce affected people of the time. Can't remember where it was at, but it was basically saying the commerce of it was saying that at the time Arabs were a commercial nation, but it was Islamism that advocated them. Yeah, I really want to find that part. That was good. So anyway, and then in this part, it's talking about, we also going to prove how Spanish people say that like they created the Moors and they named people the Moors, and everybody's just calling themselves for some European put on us. We're going to prove that in this too, of how that's also a falsehood. Okay, here it is. The Arabians were a commercial nation. Islamism advocated this commercial spirit. So now, see, we talking about the spirits of being able to commerce throughout the waters, through on the lands. So it's definitely a spiritual thing with commerce. So it's needed with Moors. We have to be, but we have to be divine before we think national to that. So here we go right here. Sulu. We see that the Sulus connected to the Islamics that lived abroad and came to the island. So this ties into Sulu, the people who signed that treaty, right? Don't you see how now it's very important that we understand our connection to Asia and who we are with the Asians? Because we got treaties that goddamn predate anything. So this part was important. I think it was okay here. How do we know what they mean when they are calling themselves Moors? Because it's not the same. They have a whole different language. Like when they're calling themselves Moors, because of all the stuff that happened, we would have to know what to listen for. I think it's in this. That's where I found that at. Oh, the same as Moro. It is spelled Horo and sound translated as Wuleyu. In another word, the Wuleyu is a Chinese sound translation of the Philippines Moro during the Ming Dynasty, 1368 to 1644. So Wuleyu, Chinese people had known they were Moros and translated it as Wuleyu, and began to study the language, which had similar written letters within the Arabian language more than a century before the Spanish conquered the Philippines. This fact is enough to overthrow the view that Moro is a name given to the Philippine Muslims by the Spanish in the 16th century, and enough to prove Moro is self-called name instead of being called by others. So if that's true with them, it gotta be true with us. If their stuff is a self-called name, and the Spanish ain't make it, and it was way before the 1600s, then that got to mean the same for the Moors over in Americas. Matter of fact, when I showed y'all the land before it split, it connects, still connects. So now they just interchanging Moro and North African Moors all up in this joint. And they called it a nationality twice. And this is Mulan P or the Maghreb. So you cannot separate that. We already dealt with half of that in what's his name? What's that guy's name? June Fan, the June Fan document. And before I end it, I want to show y'all this right here. We got this is a headshot. Another headshot. The Treaty of Peace between Great Britain and the Empire of Morocco, concluded at Fez January 28th, 1760, also between Tunis and Tripoli in 1762. Moors, that's what I'm saying. The treaties, it don't start there. It go all the way back. I found treaties that go back. Oh, we just dealt with it. What's his name? The Eagle Bowl Treaty of Khalifa Zagal. We go to this. What does this say here? What does this say? Islamization of the West Sumatra. But it's built like so-called Chinese houses. But it's mosques. So those are mosques. When you see that, that's a mosque. That's not Chinese stuff. That's a mosque, guys. That's all that means. It's a mosque. Like that one. That's a mosque too. Oh, wait. Let's look at what the name of this place is called. Aceh or Ashe. They have an Ashe Baysar. They have an Ashe Baysar. And it's called the Lamori Kingdom from the 10th century. Mosque in Aceh, built in the 10th century by the Lamori Kingdom. So Lemuria is over here too. help trade China. So China, you might as well, when you see China now, you might as well just say Walayu or Wala. Wali Allah. So China, you might as well just say Moro and Walayu, because that means, you know, more nationality. And we get to this. No, wait. What was that word that we just seen in that document? Because that was crazy. All right, so we see this. Yeah, Wali Allah. Like, so Wali Allah or Koroma. Koroma Wali Allah. Koroma Wali Allah. Kumari. So Koroma or Kumari? Watch this, Morris. What do y'all know about it? Something ain't there no more. Kumari Kandam. Or Canaan. Something ain't there no more. Now, if all of this really used to connect, then it'll show you, yeah, we all the same people for real, and they really, really hiding it. Kumari Kandam, type, lost continent. Oh, hold up. Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't even, see. Kumari Khan, Kumari Condom. So, what's that, John? Asir was putting me on to Americapana, that type of stuff. This is called Komori Khan. Komori. So you were Komorican before you were American? I'm out of here on that one. Out of here. All right, Maury, y'all gonna have to go study. Take out to this heart map real. Oh, this is how that stuff looked back in the day. China. Go to this heart. Oh, Aceh right here. Aceh. Yeah. Get this. The heart map, Morris. The heart map is the map that'll show you that America, South America down there, America is actually Asia. So, peace and love, Morris. Start where yeah. Peace and love, Morris. Definitely go do some studying. And just know we all won the Orient. Islam.